Welcome everyone to this presentation of Kansas City Ballet's live dancer chat. Today is Wednesday, February 8th. This is a community engagement and education program series through the Kansas City Ballet. Thank you all very much for being here. We greatly appreciate it. My name is Melissa Ford. I will be serving as your moderator this evening. I am currently the Director of Philanthropic Giving at the School of Science and Engineering here at UMKC. In addition, I've had nearly a 3-decade relationship with the Kansas City Ballet as a student, a volunteer, a past employee, a donor, and of course, a proud parent of my daughter, Cecilia, who is in level 3 at Kansas City Ballet and recently performed in the production of Giselle. I currently serve as Ballet Guild President, and I'm also a member of the Board of Directors. Tonight, we will be talking about the upcoming production of Cinderella, which is set for the Kaufman Center of Performing Arts, February 17th through the 26th. I'm excited to visit with our dancers tonight. We have the pleasure of talking with Kansas City Ballet company members, Naomi Tanioka and Andrew Vecseri. Naomi is originally from Sapporo, Japan, and began her training with Chida Toshiko Ballet Studio. Naomi joined Kansas City Ballet in 2019, and you may have seen her on stage as Lucy in Dracula or the Snow Queen in the Nutcracker, just to name a few. Thank you, Naomi, very much for being here with us this evening. Andrew is from Houston, Texas, where he began his training at Houston Repertory Ballet before joining Houston Ballet Academy and subsequently joining the Houston Ballet Company. Andrew joined Kansas City Ballet this past season. Thank you so much, Andrew, for being here, and welcome to Kansas City.
Thank you.
All right. For more information on Naomi, Andrew, and the entire Kansas City Ballet Company, please check out information on our website at kcballet.org. I'll start off the questions with Naomi. If any of you out there have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat, and we will spend some time later in the conversation answering those questions for you. All right. Without further ado, Naomi. Cinderella is, of course, a classic childhood story. What has been your experience or view of this story before working with Cinderella, and did it change after you being in this production?
Yeah, so Cinderella has always been like this magical love story, like the girl meets prince and her whole life changes. But I remember first day of rehearsal, Devin was just telling us Cinderella that it seems like everything changes and she becomes this princess, but Cinderella, she stays the same. It's her. She's always had this beautiful, kind soul, and fairy godmother gives her these beautiful dress and shoes and carriage, but herself stays the same, and that's what Prince sees, and when he finds her as just a nobody in the house, he still remembers her and falls in love. So it's really, she's just an incredible person who can see good things in bad moments. It's so wonderful that she can keep believing and dreaming that one day she will meet her love, and it's, yeah, I'm really enjoying learning this ballet and trying to see how she sees these dark moments and turns it into empowering, believing, her keeping her kind soul.
It looks like you're emulating her very well in these photographs. They're beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Andrew, I'm going to turn it over to you now. Over the years, there have been many reimagined versions of the story of Cinderella. How do you feel that this ballet is different and or similar to the story we have come to know and love?
Yeah, so there's, as you said, there's been a lot of different stories. There's the original one, I believe it's the original one of the Grimm brothers, which is a rather dark storytelling of Cinderella, and has rather dark turns to it. And then you also have the classic ones that you all know and love, and the Disney one that most everyone, I believe, has seen. And it's and then there's also very abstract ones, so like one that I did back in Houston when I was there in the company or second company, and the director did a very abstract and his own version of it. And it was very interesting to see all the different types and versions that you can take one story and you can interpret it so many different ways while still showing the same storyline and the same principles coming out of it. It's just very interesting to see. And I believe that Devin in this one, he takes more of the traditional approach of a Prince Charming and the same traditional approach with Cinderella of who she is and how she gets to the ball and falls in love with the prince. And it's just your traditional one mainly, and it's very fun to act out that Prince Charming and everything, and it's quite incredible to be a part of, especially in the creating process.
I'm going to ask you more about being the prince in just a second.
Right?
Naomi, I'm going to ask you this next question. As Cinderella, how do you relate to her as a character? How do you internalize those thoughts and emotions to bring that character to life on stage?
Yeah, it's been. I mean, this is my first time doing a lead role for the full-length ballet, and the other day I had a rehearsal with Christy, and we went through a little bit of my solo, and we kind of just like talked it out and made sense of each movement, and it really helped me because I mean the music is so difficult. Prokofiev has made this like amazing piece of work, but it's so hard to count, and so I'm already, caught off by those counts and caught up in them, and to act on top of it, but hit the notes, and so it really needs a lot of practice, but yeah, just like going through each movement and making a story of it in my head, just going to the broom and taking it and telling myself like, oh, like this is what I have to do, but then look at the broom and say, wait, that looks like something. Go see the little hat on the fireplace and put that together. Oh, maybe this can look like a person, and maybe I can dance with this person, and that leads to her dream dancing with a imaginary prince, but it's a broom and a hat. And it's like it's just like walking through everything with voice inside my head saying, oh, look at this, oh maybe this will work. It's just that kind of thing. It has been like really helpful for me to really dissect everything and make a fluid story in a variation. But yeah, it's very difficult, but it has been a good challenge for me to learn that and yeah.
The analytical and the artistic thought process all while on stage. I love that. And you looked in that last photo that I just showed a lot of pure joy in rehearsals, which leads me to my next question. This is for Andrew. What does the rehearsal process for a performance of this magnitude look like? Is there something in particular that you look forward to the most?
Ooh, this rehearsal process, it's rather unique in the way that it's not just a ballet that's already set, but it's rather Devin coming in with his books, his score, and he's coming in and trying to, like Naomi was talking about, the counts are extremely difficult, but the music is beautiful. And coming into it and trying to work with Devin to try to find what works with the music, how he wants to express it, and trying to take all of his ideas that he's trying to express and put them into practice and really trying to get exactly what he wants. And sometimes there are really slow rehearsals where he's working with this group and then this group and then you as a principal to try to get it all done at once, to try to get the whole scene together and moving together. And then some rehearsals you pull them aside and it's just a one-on-one with Devin where he's just working really hard with you and choreographing whatever needs to be choreographed, and you're just running it and trying to work on the artistic and the physical aspects of it, because it's very technically challenging, and it's also very emotionally and artistically challenging. And honestly, I look forward to working on those parts of it, where also the pas de deux, there's a lot of extremely difficult pas de deux in it. It is Cinderella, so it's a love story. So you're gonna have pas de deux, and he's making them rather challenging. But it's very fun, and I very much look forward to working on those pas de deux and trying to get the technical aspects of it, and also the dancing and the acting, to try to find exactly what he wants and how I would go about expressing it with my partner or by myself, and trying to get all of those sorted out. And it's honestly a joy to look forward to be working on that, to try to create something that he wants to present on stage.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Andrew, for sharing that.
Yeah.
For those of you who have just joined us, or maybe we're a little late to the program, my name is Melissa Ford. I am serving as moderator this evening for the Kansas City Ballet's live dancer chat as part of a community engagement and education program here at Kansas City Ballet. Tonight, we are talking with Naomi and Andrew, celebrating Cinderella and our upcoming performance at Kaufman Center for Performing Arts. Thank you both again for being here, and thank you all to everyone in the audience for joining us tonight as well. My next question is to Naomi. How does the dynamic of the rehearsals and the performances change with the addition of the young dance students that come into the rehearsals and to the performance arena? And what has that interaction been like for you personally?
Yeah, it's great having all the kids in rehearsal with us and be in our productions. They're all so excited, and you know, they're all very focused and just really in it. So it's so good to see all the young generation of dancers with us, and you know, like the music is even hard for us to count. So for them to be, you know, counting and be on the beat, it's amazing what they've done. There's this clock scene, the midnight 12 o'clock part, where the kids come on with numbers, and you know, they have to look for their mark and be on the certain counts and start, they have this like crazy patterns, and these are like little kids holding this giant number and running and having to count and still look like pretty, but they're doing an amazing job, and it's been so nice to have them in the room with us. And it just, we are very small, pretty small size company, so just having more people on stage makes everything look big, and it's great to have them with us.
Wonderful.
And Devin choreography, like he loves having many people on stage, and it looks great what he's done with. We were just working on fairy godmother attendance and all the fairies and seasons sections, and we just had the attendance together for that section, and it just just adding 2 other rows of dancers to what we've already created, it just makes it even better. So it's been great. We love having them.
Well, I'm sure they love dancing with you too. Thank you very much. This next question is for you, Andrew. I've got actually a question from Evan Selgren, and he wants to know what your favorite part of dancing is. And I'm going to add a caveat question to that as well. How has your training prepared you for this role? So talk a little bit about what led you here and what you enjoy about it.
Ooh, that is a good one. I come up from a very I love the technicalities of things, and I love breaking things down and seeing how they work, because I come from a family of engineers. And so I kind of use that when I'm dancing, because I usually take steps and I look about them, especially when they're very hard, which there are several in this performance. And when things get really hard, I like to take a step back and just break it down to see, okay, her leg is here, so her weight needs to be here, or my weight needs to be here when I take off, so when I land, I'm on balance for my next step, or things like that. So I love the aspect of breaking things down technically to figure out how they work. And then also the same thing with pas de deux, as well as dancing itself. And I feel like my training, I come from Houston Ballet, and I had very good teachers when I was growing up, and they would very much get on me with being very technical, and then also in the artistic way of thinking about being the character. If you put yourself in those characters' shoes and you're interacting with the other characters on stage, how would you go about interacting with them? And what would that interaction look like? And things like that. And I feel like that's what I really enjoy about dance, is that there's no limit to that. You can always push that farther. You can always push your technicality farther. You can never hit an end. And it's very fun to try to push your technique to the absolute limit, and then try to push a little bit further to see what you can actually do and what's actually possible. And I find that very fun and very challenging every single day.
Excellent. You led me to my next question, Naomi. This is for you. And Andrew, please feel free to chime in if you have an answer. For those of you in the audience who don't remember, Kansas City Ballet performed Cinderella back in 2014 as well, directed by Victoria Morgan. I was there and got to see the performance, and there is a lot of emotions on stage, whether it's humor or romance or sadness. And so Naomi, the question is to you, how do you work with your fellow dancers on stage to collectively make that emotion portrayed to the audience? What type of interaction do you have with your colleagues?
Yeah. So a lot of Cinderella's emotions, it also happens, you know, like within the you know, big family scenes, but she has this solo at the beginning of third act, and she's all by herself. She's sleeping by the fireplace because she doesn't get a room. That's where she sleeps. And she's just experienced that beautiful ballroom with her prince, and she's back to her cold floor with a piece of blanket, and it's like, you know, it starts out with this music overture that wakes her up, and the music is just so inspiring in this ballet. Prokofiev music is just that, listening to that by itself is so emotional, and it just, you know, suits this solo so well. And so for me, those moments that she has by herself is really what is so emotional, and where I really see importance in you know, projecting that and telling story through that emotion. The part with the prince when she's in love, it's we talk about it a little bit, but you know, choreography just already, there's so many moments where, you know, looking at each other, even when we're spinning around, a lot of times we're face to face to each other. There's moments that I have my head on the shoulder a lot. We hold hands, and you know, and so just taking each moment like really put importance in each moment, and yeah, just being in the moment, like, yeah, breathing, like, yeah, just having like the same, like sharing the same moment together really, I think, speaks to the audience.
Well, and that's the second time you've mentioned the music tonight, and thank you, because it is beautiful music, and I'm sure it's both inspiring to you all on stage as much as it is for us in the audience. So thank you for that answer. My next question is to you both. Andrew, I'll start with you. What is your mindset for a live performance, and how do you spend your time preparing for the performance?
Yeah, so I'll start with how I spend my time for the performance. Usually starting before the performance, I know if I'm doing a big role, I'll usually start my makeup and getting ready and get my hair done and my costume on a little bit early so that I have time to go out and warm up and all of that stuff. Just getting ready for the show generally. And then I'll usually pray before I go on stage. And then just getting in character. That's mainly what I do, because on stage and when I'm performing, I usually just try to put myself in my character's shoes, in the time period, in the status of the character, what the character is thinking, how the character would interact with other people, and then kind of almost doing like an improv, like acting, where I would like go around and I would put myself in random scenarios while in that character to see how I would react. And it kind of gets me into the character itself, so that when I'm on stage, I don't have to think about my acting per se. Mm-hmm. But because I'm thinking about being in my character, the acting is coming out naturally, and I'm not performing for the audience, but the audience is actually watching me perform with my coworkers and interacting with each other. So it's like watching a movie rather than the movie being projected at you.
Very
And
interesting perspective.
that's usually what I think. So when I'm in that mode, then I feel like I'm in it more with the people I'm with. And if I'm supposed to be acting in love, I actually put myself in that situation, in that character. How would this character express being in love? And usually, if you portray that correctly, the other person who you're supposed to be in love with, they also feel that same emotion, and they'll be able to more naturally project it back to you. And so you start building off each other, and you start building a beautifully artistic and amazing performance of artistic value there. And then also, before curtain goes up for the act or the scene that I'm in, I'll usually try all the technically hard things that I need to do, just to make sure that I have them all down, so that when I actually get on stage, I can perform the best I can.
Wonderful. And that is a very detailed question or response, and one that I hadn't considered. So thank you for that. Naomi, the same question to you. Do you have any rituals? How do you get into the mindset of your character on a performance day?
I'm still having trouble sometimes. This past Nutcracker, it was my Sugar Plum debut, and I got to the theater way too early. I started my warm up way too early, and I just tried every single step like at least 10 times each step, and just did it over and over, and I was just getting in my head. So I'm still figuring out, but I for sure get there early and warm up beforehand and go over everything. And it's funny. It's always I'm so frantic and obsessing over every step beforehand, and but then as the closer I get to the actual performance, I calm down and I feel, when I step on stage, I'm I'm just enjoying my show. I'm not
As you should be.
Yeah. And I know that I will be that way, and I still manage to freak out every single.
You get nervous?
I need to find some way to calm myself before I'm still trying to figure that out.
I have one more question for you, and then I have another question for Andrew as well. But we've got to talk about the shoes. Similar to the red slippers, the famous red slippers in The Wizard of Oz. Please talk to us about your glass slippers.
Yeah, I just today turned in my shoes to get bedazzled. But Amanda, who did a photo shoot for this poster, this Cinderella billboards everywhere. You see Amanda everywhere. She has her photo shoot shoes, and she showed me, and it's beautiful. It's not as many jewels as the Oz shoes, because Oz shoes had like jewels on the side of the shoes too. It was the whole shoe was covered in glitter or the stones. Mm-hmm. But this, and it was smaller stones. This one, there's like 5 big stone in the middle, and then some little ones and some mid-sized one. No, nothing on the sides, but it's like a design on the shoe. So it's very pretty. I'm so excited.
Well, we can't wait to see them on stage on your beautiful feet. Andrew, my last question for you is, what message do you hope the audience takes away from your performance as Prince?
I hope the audience can take away with the message of it's kind of like the message of love, even though, and treating everyone with respect, per se, even if they're the lowly class or the high class. It's treating everyone with a level of respect, because it's how they value themselves and how they treat others, and that's a beautiful thing, that we should treat others with respect, especially when they have such a beautiful soul as Cinderella does, and with all they've been through. So that's really the main thing that I would say. It's just being kind and treating everyone with respect for not knowing what their situation is in.
That's a wonderful message. Naomi, the same question to you. As Cinderella, what do you hope, what message do you hope the audience walks away with from your performance?
Yeah, the best thing about Cinderella is, you know, her life is so unfair, and she has the stepmother and her stepsister just treating her so badly, and she still treats everyone with a kind heart. She loves animals. She cares for all good things, and she still dreams her, you know, beautiful life ahead. And so it's really important, no matter what kind of situation you're in, it's what you make of it. It's, you can only, you know, how you feel, you can only change that yourself. So it's even if the situation is not changing, you can be happy. That is on you. So you know that you can see the light in dark times, and that will lead to a better future.
I can see it in your face on this picture. It's very beautiful. Thank you. Last fun question for you both. Andrew, I'll start with you. If you could have a dream role in any ballet that you wanted, what would it be?
Ooh, anyone who knows me knows I don't love picking favorites.
Okay.
But I think three that I really would look forward to are Onyegan, the principal in Onyegan, Manon, and then also Romeo in Romeo and Juliet. Those three would probably be my top favorite that I've always wanted to do.
Excellent. Naomi, same question to you. If you could be your dream role in a ballet, what would it be?
Definitely Juliet is up there. I know, like, it's a lot of people's favorite and a lot of people's, you know, dream role, but again, Prokofiev music, just Romeo and Juliet, just, it's like that music is just, oh my gosh, that is such a beautiful piece of music. But yeah, playing Juliet would be, yeah, that would be a dream.
Is there anything else that you all wanted to share before we start to wrap up? Anything I missed?
Can't think of any.
Okay. I want to take one more question from the audience real quick, and then we'll finish up. This is a question from Laura Muckerman. Do you each have parts of your own life stories that relate to your roles within the ballet?
Well, I can't say that I am a prince in real life, how disappointing that is, but uh, it's definitely taught me a lot with my life experience. Like I was saying, with the how what I wanted the audience to take away with that treating everyone with dignity and self-respect, especially when they deserve it and they have shown themselves and proved themselves to uh, maybe not be in the best of situations, but to be respectful people and someone who is trying to do good even despite not being in the best situation, but still wanting the best for everyone else. Um, it's really seeing that and taking other people's experiences and life experiences into their own and treating people with that dignity and respect to not just put them aside because they may not be in the best of situations. And I've definitely seen that in my own life, and I've tried to live that way, and bringing that onto the stage and showing that in front of thousands of people is really an opportunity I'm grateful for.
Both of you, your passion and your hearts ring true in this interview, and I'm sure on stage too. Naomi, do you have anything to add to that as it pertains to Cinderella and her story relating to your own?
Yeah, I mean, Cinderella is like my goal. Like if I can be like Cinderella, that would be awesome. But you know, even when during the hard times, I try to, you know, be the best, be my best self, and still you know, move forward with it. But it's hard. I don't know how Cinderella doesn't, you know, get depressed in her situation. It's incredible, but yeah, I want to be her.
We'll end with that inspiration. Thank you again, Naomi and Andrew, for being here tonight and sharing with us all of the wonderful things about the new upcoming production of Cinderella and your roles. We're very excited to see you as Cinderella and the Prince. So thank you both. I also want to say a special thank you to Kansas City Ballet for putting this event together. And of course, all of the staff and volunteers who make this organization happen. And thank you for the invitation to join you as moderator this evening. If you are interested in seeing Cinderella at the Kaufman Center of Performing Arts, February 17th through the 26th, you can go to kcballet.org to purchase your tickets there. I have some community events I wanted just to mention from a personal perspective. The UMKC Alumni Awards is happening on March the 10th at PlexPod, and we will be celebrating the outstanding achievements of our UMKC RU graduates. So if you're able to join us there, as a Girl Scout troop leader, please go out and buy lots of Girl Scout cookies and support the largest girl-run entrepreneurial small business. And thank you all for being here. It truly means a lot to be here with you, and have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you again. Have a good night.
Good night.
Night. Thank you.